What is up, gamers, and welcome into this video. My name is Bentley, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Rogue. I'm really excited for this. Going to be going over like the playstyle, the skills and abilities, core mechanics, the ultimate skills, which look really cool, and some more. So without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So guys, the first thing you need to know about is the Diablo 4 giveaway. You could win yourself a copy of the base game. It's very simple to join, link down in the description below. And this is going to be the first video in a new series covering all the classes in Diablo 4. So while you're down there, why not hit the like button, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when those videos are released. So if you love the assassin stereotype, being able to swap between range and close quarter weapons on a class with tons of mobility and great versatility, then the Rogue might just be for you. The class can also tap into cold, shadow, and poison damage, which actually affects the look of their skills as well, which is awesome, as well as traps, great CC, including stuns and slows, and even stealth. This makes the Rogue incredibly versatile, so you can pick what you want to play. Do you want to play more melee focused? Do you want to play more ranged? Do you want to go into more shadow or cold skills with like slows and freezes, or that classic assassin poison vibe? The choice is yours. You can choose what playstyle you want. So let's take a look at their class specialization. And the first one you'll unlock is at level 15, and this is called combo points. Essentially, use basic attacks to fill up these 3 little nodes, and then when you use one of your core skills, it will spend these nodes to amplify the skill, doing things like extra arrows and damage to your barrage skill. Next up is Inner Sight. This will mark targets for about 10 seconds, and upon filling up the Inner Sight gauge, you'll gain unlimited energy for 4 seconds. Now, energy is the resource pool that the rogues use, and this, I think, is going to make you incredibly powerful, especially at taking down single target monsters like bosses. And the last class specialization is called Preparation. Unfortunately, not much is known about this, but it's speculated that it's to do with cooldowns. And if it's anything like World of Warcraft preparation skill, then it's going to be based around these cooldown reduction, maybe resets. So that's the kind of thing I would expect. But it's also worth noting that these like class stances can be changed at any time, including in combat. So that could just be something like it's pre-release and they haven't sorted it properly yet, or it's actually a mechanic and you can just hot swap on the fly, which could be really interesting for builds if you could swap it quick enough, but that could be extremely high skill cap. Because you could use something like the combo points for just clearing out mobs, and then when you know a boss is coming, you swap it over to Inner Sight. And then maybe in PvP, if you want some burst damage, you could use Preparation, if it is cooldown based, to just burst down your rivals with some incredibly quick skills. Talking about skills, let's have a look at some of the Rogue has. These are split into basic skills, core skills, agility skills, subterfuge skills, imbuement skills, and ultimate skills. Your basic skills are the typical ones you spam. There are 5 of these, 2 ranged weapon skills and 3 dual wield skills. These have effects like on the 3rd hit will slow, or increase critical strike chance on enemies, or even like make enemies vulnerable, and can increase your resource generation. Next up is the core skills. This is your bread and butter and do significantly more damage than your basic skills, but also spend your energy. And so far we have 3 ranged weapon skills and 2 dual wield skills. First up is Barrage. Unleash a barrage of 5 arrows that expands outwards, dealing 26% damage. Each arrow has a 20% chance to ricochet off an enemy up to 1 time. Next is Rapid Fire. Unfortunately, no footage of this, but it's rapidly fire 5 arrows, each dealing 20% damage. Then Penetrating Shot. Fire an arrow that pierces through all enemies in a line, dealing 89% damage. And a quick reminder, all these like damage values are subject to change, obviously. The first melee skill, Flurry. Unleash a flurry of stabs and slashes, dealing 76% damage to all enemies in front of you. And lastly, with no footage, unfortunately, Twisting Blades. Impale an enemy with your blades, dealing 57% damage and making them take increased damage while impaled. Then after 1.5 seconds, the blades return to you, piercing enemies for 74% damage. Next is your agility skills. These are more utility based, and the first one being the trusty Shadow Step. Become unstoppable, quickly moving through the shadows to stab your victim from behind, granting yourself 50% move speed for 2 seconds. Next up is Dash. Dash forward, slashing enemies for 47% damage. Then lastly, Caltrops. Leap backwards and throw down Caltrops on the ground, dealing 38% damage and slowing enemies for 50%, lasting for 6 6 seconds. Then we have subterfuge skills. These are mostly utility and defensive, and the first one being concealment. Vanish from sight, gaining stealth for 4 seconds. During concealment, you additionally become unstoppable, gain 25% move speed, and can move through enemies freely. Using an attack, however, will break the concealment. Next, Dark Shroud. Surround yourself with up to 5 protective shadows, gaining 8% damage reduction per active shadow. Each time you take direct damage, the damage is reduced and the shadow is consumed. Then Smoke Grenade. Throw a smoky concoction at enemies, which CC them for 4 seconds. And lastly, Poison Trap. Throw a trap on the floor, and after a short delay, it'll activate and poison enemies for 9 seconds. Next, we have Imbuement skills. These are essentially buffs to the next 2 imbuable skills, such as Barrage. The first one we have is Shadow. This can make enemies explode, great for mass mob killing. Then we have Cold, which can chill enemies and do extra damage to CC'd enemies. And finally, Poison, which does damage over time. This could be really good for taking down bosses. Lastly, we have the amazing looking ultimate skills, the first one being Rain of Arrows. Rain down arrows over a really large area, and yes, your imbuement skills also work with these ultimates. This one here is Cold Imbued. Next is Death Trap. Place a trap that activates when enemies are near, dealing tons of damage. That one was Shadow Imbued. The last one we know about is Shadow Clone. Your shadow mimics your actions for 15 seconds, but it only does 60% of your damage. Unfortunately, no footage for this one though. Okay, so that's quite a bit of info, but let me know, guys, what you think down below. What kind of rogue do you want to play? Maybe an ice rogue, a shadow, melee rogue. It's a very versatile class. But while you're down there, why not join our community Discord with a link in the description? We'll be making a clan, so come get involved. And remember, I also stream either right here on the YouTube channel or on my Twitch channel, so come get involved and play with me live. Another great mechanic on rogue is the arsenal system. Now, similar to barbarians, where they can equip multiple weapons, the rogue can equip a bow and 2 one-handed weapons at the same time, which means when you use a skill, it will automatically swap to the weapon type you have, so you don't need to worry about having just melee skills or just bow skills. You can effectively be a hybrid. Finally, we have legendary aspects. If you don't know what these are, I've made a video linked down below talking about legendary items and everything you need to know. But essentially, these are legendary quality passives that you can put on your gear. Now, these are defensive ones, and I won't read every single one, but have a look at this top one, Cheats Aspect. You take 15% less damage from crowd-controlled enemies, and whenever a crowd-controlled enemy damages you, you gain 15% movement speed for 2 seconds. You can see straight away how that would be really good on an ice build. You slow them, and if they do get to you, you gain movement speed. Even in like PvP, this could be really strong for kiting. Then we have some offensive ones. Check out this bottom one. Flurry damages enemies in a circle around you, dealing times 8% increased damage. So this could be really good for clearing mobs, a nice AoE melee build. Now check this out. Aspect of Sleeting Imbuements. Your Rain of Arrows, remember your ultimate, is always affected by all imbuement skills. That sounds really powerful. The last defensive ones, we got these 3, and you got Aspect of Violate Shadows. When a Dark Shroud shadow would be removed, it explodes, dealing shadow damage around you. Another nice AoE. And the last 3 rogue specific ones are things like energy regeneration and changing your grenades to count them as trap skills, and then you gain movement speed when you use a trap skill. So the question is, guys, is rogue for you? Do you think you're going to be playing it in the upcoming beta, or is this like a definite for launch? Let me know down below, because out of all the classes in the first beta weekend, I'm super excited to try out Rogue first, so I'm going to be jumping straight into this. And remember, I'm going to be making a bunch more videos on all the other classes, just like this format, so let me know if you enjoyed the format. And we've got Twitch, sub to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, all that good stuff. Links down below. And until the next one, guys, really appreciate you. Thanks for watching to the end, and I hope you at least learned something, and I also hope you have a very nice day. Cheers now.